Hello all, and welcome to Behind the Seams with your narrator Jay from Minfield Media. If you're new here, it's a pleasure to meet you, and if you're returning, then it's great to see you again. Behind the Seams is a series that is about bringing former players and their stories to the present day to be appreciated by a newer generation. It's also to show that there was just more than just Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Fox, and the stars of the past. This episode is a very special episode because the player is fan requested. The first one since Vida Blue, at least half a year ago maybe. A player that this person had the pleasure of watching and has very fond memories of in the summer, watching this player be a huge contributor to the 1969 Miracle Mets. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to introduce you to Tommie Agee. Before we jump into it, if you enjoyed these stories, please be sure to like, subscribe, and maybe even think about sharing so we can continue to spread the good word about the former years of America's pastime. If you guys have any players you would love to see behind the scenes of, please make sure to comment and it may appear in the future. Let's jump into it. Tommie Agee was born August 9th, 1942 in Magnolia, Alabama to parents Carrie and Joseph Agee. Before we go any further, it's time for everyone's favorite game who watches Behind the Seams. How many siblings did this player have? I'll give you guys a chance to pause and make a guess. You ready? He had 10 siblings. 9 of them were girls. I couldn't find whether he was the oldest or the youngest, but it's pretty fair to say the boys were highly outnumbered in the Agee household. A year after Tommie was born, the family moved to Mobile, Alabama. His father, Joseph, found work with an aluminum company of America. Not sure what his mother did, but fair to assume she stayed home with the Agee kids. I mean, you got 10 of them. Now, because of where they grew up, they had very good sports weather, and obviously they had a crop of talent to show for it. Also from the area were baseball stars Hank Aaron, Willie McCovey, Satchel Paige, and even Tommie's future teammate Amos Otis. That is a hell of a lineup. Hell of a lineup. Now, all of those guys reached the majors at their own separate times, but there was one player in Mobile that Tommie had the chance to play with during his time in New York. That player would turn out to be Cleon Jones. Tommie met Cleon in junior high school, and they were close friends from the day they met. With all of the time and weather to play sports, it's not terribly surprising that Tommie was a very good athlete. But his mother wanted something more for him. His mom wanted him to become a minister. I guess. Tommie once said that when he was young, he had the chance to see Jackie Robinson break the color barrier, and that was when he knew that one day he could be a professional baseball player. I still find it crazy that a lot of players had just one moment that completely flipped the switch and put them on the path to play baseball. Like, I can't imagine the number of players who let their dreams only be dreams and decide against playing baseball. Like, it's gotta be high into the millions. And it's crazy to think that, before Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, that was real life for a lot of African American baseball players. And when it happened, it's gotta be like, oh my God, like if he can do it, I can do it. Like, I don't think people truly appreciate how Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier, like how momentous that was. Baseball was around for a long time before that happened. And it's a shame that it took as long as it did for it to happen. Let's keep going. Tommie attended Mobile County Training School, which was just a neighborhood high school. While in school, Agee played 4 sports, being football, basketball, baseball, and track and field. On the diamond, he went absolute nuclear. He hit, and this is very assumed, that he hit 390 while also working as a pitcher. That's insane. We love a two-way player here at Infield Media. During summer, when school was out, he even played sandlot ball and once found himself catching fly balls for future Hall of Fame Mobile resident Billy Williams. You know, you can say what you will, but that's cool as shit, man. Tommie was so good at baseball, he received a scholarship to play at Grambling State University, where he would meet Dr. Ralph Waldo Emerson Jones. To save time, I think we'll just call him Dr. Jones. The good doctor had one change he wanted Agee to make, and it was pretty simple. Cut down on your swing. Cutting down on your swing, for people who may not know, means to just shorten a swing path and focus on making contact instead of swinging for the fences. After he put the work in to become a contact hitter, Agee probably did the single funniest thing that I could honestly imagine. In his first at-bat, he crushed a ball over the left field fence for a home run. His second at-bat, tattooed a ball over the center field fence. His third at-bat, just your run-of-the-mill mammoth home run over the right field fence. As if it couldn't have gotten any better, in his fourth at-bat, he crushed a ball to deep center field that actually fell short of the wall. But Tommie Agee was fast enough to turn it into an inside-the-park home run. Guy went 4 for 4 with 4 home runs that all went to different parts of the field. I think he was pretty good at hitting home runs. Obviously, hitting wasn't a problem for him, but there was one obstacle he actually did have to overcome. His scouting report stated that he lacked coordination and had poor fundamentals. Dr. Jones tried him at first base, nope. Middle infield, nope. Pitcher, nada. Dr. Jones ended up just putting him in center field, and that's where Agee would play for the remainder of his career in baseball. In his single season at Grambling State, he finished with an average of .533, which at one point, and may still be a record for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Damn impressive for a guy with poor coordination. After that season at Grambling, it wasn't shocking to learn that pro scouts wanted him, and they wanted his bat badly. Impressively enough, his childhood friend Cleon Jones also got scouts' attention, but Cleon always said that Tommie was the better player. Tommie would sign a contract with the Cleveland Indians for a $65,000 bonus in 1961. He started his career at Class D Dubuque, I think it's Dubuque, where he managed to hit .261 with 15 home runs and 40 RBIs in just 64 games. Putting up those stats in 64 games, it shouldn't be a shock that he was then moved up again, but this time to Class B Burlington in 1962, where he put up a .258 batting average, 7 home runs, and just 55 RBIs. He would actually even add 25 stolen bases to his arsenal, and Cleveland decided it was time again to move him up, but this time to AAA Jacksonville. He played in 2 games, had 2 at-bats, struck out once, and got a hit for just a .500 average for Cleveland to all of a sudden decide, yeah, I think he's ready. 2 at-bats, 1 hit, .500 average, he got called up. I guess. Agee debuted on September 14th, 1962 against the Minnesota Twins, but came into the game in the 9th inning. He would end up flying out, which didn't make much of a difference as Minnesota crushed the Indians 11-1. In his first run with the big league club, he played in 5 games, 14 at-bats, and just managed 3 hits with 2 RBIs for a .214 batting average. He bounced back and forth from the minors to the big club until 1964, and he only managed to hit .170 in 53 at-bats, 1 home run, 5 RBIs, and 16 strikeouts. Wasn't looking good, but it really also wasn't a big enough sample size to truly criticize. Like, that was between 1962 and 1964. And 53 at-bats, it's not like he was playing every day. I don't think you can properly criticize until a player has at least played over like 110 games in a season. That's just my point of view. In the offseason before the 1965 season, Agee would get a break, and he would be dealt to the Chicago White Sox with pitcher Tommy John, and the catcher John Romano in a 4-team trade between the Athletics, Indians, White Sox, and the Royals. There were a lot of moving pieces, and I truly just do not feel like going through who went where and for what. Just know that history would show that the White Sox won this deal. Agee would spend a good amount of his time at AAA Indianapolis, where he hit .226 with only 8 home runs, 33 RBIs, 15 stolen bases, and 101 strikeouts. Not exactly on the path for success, unfortunately. He did manage to get called up that season and did even worse, where he hit .158, 3 hits and 19 at-bats, and just 3 RBIs. I mean, like I said, obviously you can take what you want from this start, but I wouldn't look too far into it because it's not like he's getting everyday playing time. 1966, and a team finally learned to just let him play. Agee stunned all of baseball with adequate playing time as he settled into the starting center fielder role and mashed accordingly. He hit .273, 22 home runs, 88 RBIs, and scored 98 runs in 160 games. He even added 44 stolen bases to his rookie campaign. Obviously, he won the Rookie of the Year hardware, a Gold Glove, and was named an All-Star for the season. So good of a season that he finished 8th in MVP voting. The 23-year-old just absolutely went nuclear. And this backs up what I was saying, is that, like, you can't properly analyze a prospect without giving him the adequate playing time to prove whether he can sink or swim. It's very clear that once Agee got the playing time, he was going to swim his ass off. In 1967, he managed to start hot again and make another All-Star team. Unfortunately, he did fall into a sophomore slump on the back end of the season, lowering his average for the year to .234. He hit 14 home runs, 52 RBIs, and he stole 28 bases. As a right-handed bat, he absolutely dominated left-handed pitching as he hit .306. The shocking thing was he was kind of bad against right-handed pitchers, where he only batted .199, though he managed to hit 10 of his 14 home runs off righties. Certainly odd, and it did not go unnoticed. Unfortunately, the Sox would go on to lose the pennant the last day of the season. A move that would affect Agee's career was a move he wasn't directly involved in. After the season, the Mets traded with the Senators to get Gil Hodges. The new manager of the Mets wanted Agee by any means necessary, and he got his wish. On December 15th of 1967, the Mets traded Tommy Davis, Jack Fisher, Billy Wynn, and Buddy Booker to the Chicago White Sox, just for Tommie Agee. A 5-for-1 trade. They do happen, but I can't imagine there were a lot of them going on in the 60s. Gil Hodges immediately made Agee his center fielder and reunited him with his childhood friend, Cleon Jones. The one thing we have to remember at this point was that the Mets were a very tragic team. Not much winning and not a lot of faith. And I'm not just saying this as a diehard Phillies fan. You look at the Mets when they first came into the league, I think in either the late 50s, early 60s, it was not good. It was not good at all. But the 1968 season showed why Mets fans weren't ones to believe. First game of spring, and Bob Gibson nailed Tommie Agee with a pitch that landed him in the hospital. He was able to start the regular season, luckily, and he played well, going 5 for 16 for a .313 average. Unfortunately, he went 0 for 10 in a 24-inning game in the Astrodome, and would lead to an 0 for 34 streak, tying Don Zimmer's record set just in 1962. Luckily, he was able to get a ground ball single through a game against Philadelphia, of course, to break the streak, but it was a long climb back up. He didn't hit a home run or get an RBI until May 10th He would finish the 1968 season with a .217 average, 5 home runs, 17 RBIs, and 13 stolen bases in 391 plate appearances. Not a good start at all, but looking back at history, the 1969 season was about to be one for the absolute ages. 1969, and Gil Hodges never lost faith in Tommie Agee. It's kind of surprising. He opened the season as the Mets leadoff hitter and showed exactly why Mets fans should believe in abnormal things happening. Third game of the season, and Tommie Agee hit a ball that landed in the upper deck at Shea Stadium. Ron Swoboda once said that ball would have gone over the third fence and hit the bus in the parking lot if not for those seats. Years later, the spot was memorialized as the distance was an estimated 480 feet. It was expected that nobody would ever get up there again. Agee absolutely crushed in 1969, leading the Mets in games, at-bats, runs, home runs, and RBIs as a damn leadoff hitter. That is impressive. Unfortunately, was not good enough for an MVP as he finished in 6th place. The Mets, on the other hand, finished with a record of 162 and helped them win their first ever National League East title. The Mets would sweep the Braves in the championship series and would meet the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series. We know how the story goes, and maybe if you guys are interested, we can do a behind the scenes on the Miracle Mets postseason run. Agee didn't hit well in the series. He batted just 167, but he made some great defensive plays to keep the Mets alive enough to win the World Series. He would win NL Comeback Player of the Year, which was very well deserved. 1970, and it seemed like Agee was only getting better. He managed .286 batting average, 24 home runs, 75 RBIs, and added 31 stolen bases. He would finally win his second Gold Glove. As if it couldn't have gotten better, he had both a 19-game hitting streak and a 20-game hitting streak in the same year. 2 hitting streaks that both went over 18 games, because only one went over 19. He would actually be the first Met to lead the club in home runs in multiple years, so that's a nice little record for him. 1971, and even though Agee hit .285, he began to experience knee troubles that only allowed him to play in 113 games that year. Still had close to 500 plate appearances, and he did hit 14 home runs, 50 RBIs, and he did steal 28 bases. Unfortunately, disaster would strike off the diamond and would absolutely hurt the Mets. Gil Hodges would pass suddenly, and the Mets would be without a manager. Luckily, they called upon one of the greatest baseball players in history, and in stepped Yogi Berra to lead the Mets. Imagine going from Gil Hodges as your manager, not the passing away part, but next up being Yogi Berra. Like, are you kidding me? This team should have went back to back to back to back to back. 1972, and Agee was playing well, hitting around .280 in May when the Mets made a very shocking move. May 11th, and the Mets acquired Willie Mays. Agee unfortunately saw his playing time decrease, and not only that, his average, which finished at .227, and other stats. His lowest WAR since 1968, which was negative 0.1, was 0.1 in 1972. November 27th of 1972, and the Mets would trade Tommie Agee to the Houston Astros for 2 players, Rich Childs and Buddy Harris. He played in 84 games for Houston and only managed a .235 average with 8 home runs and 15 RBIs. August 18th of 1973, and Houston flipped him to St. Louis for Dave Campbell and cash. Unfortunately, he was worse with St. Louis, and then on December 5th of 1973, he was traded to the Dodgers for Pete Rickert, but near the end of spring training on March 26, 1974, he was released from his contract. Imagine going from being on a World Series team just a few years prior, and then, Yogi Berra comes in as manager, and you're like, oh, I'm about to just go off. And then the team trades for the greatest center fielder in baseball history, your position. And then all of a sudden, it just derails you. I could not imagine the mental circus that he was going through during these whole moments. I truly couldn't imagine. His last professional game would be as a Cardinal against the Phillies on September 30th of 1973 at Busch Stadium. He grounded out as a pinch hitter. Agee retired at the age of 31 with 130 home runs, 430 RBIs, 167 stolen bases, and unfortunately, one hit short of 1,000. After retiring from baseball, he was able to make a very good life for himself. He was involved with youth programs in New York and owned a bar called the Outfielders Lounge right near Shea Stadium. After that, he moved into the business world and worked with Stewart Title Insurance Company. January 22nd, 2001, Tommie Agee was suddenly stricken with a heart attack that would unfortunately become fatal. He would pass away at the age of 58 years young. He was survived by his wife Maxine and daughter Janelle. Opening day 2001, and the Mets would wear a patch to honor Agee and Brian Cole, who was a Mets prospect who also passed away, but from a car accident shortly before the season. 2002, and Agee was inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. He has yet to find a spot in Cooperstown, but maybe the Veterans Committee can help him out. His longtime friend Cleon Jones once said, "I've seen many people play center field like Willie Mays, Kurt Flood, and Vada Pinson, but nobody played it better than Tommie Agee." Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Behind the Scenes on Tommie Agee. This was a story that I was very unfamiliar with, but getting the opportunity to do this has turned me into a Tommie Agee fan for life. And when I think of great players who should have reached milestones, I will always think of Agee just being one hit short of 1,000. My name is Jay, and I will see you all in the next episode of Behind the Scenes. Cheers.